Lava, this is LaserBolt, and welcome to another Biomutant video. Today we're going to be covering something that's going to be extremely important, not only in the beginning aspect of the game, but also extremely important when it comes to the almost, as you get later on throughout the game. It's going to be important because your character is going to need to be able to understand how this works, and to access certain areas, you're also going to need to know how to be able to get more of this type of resistance and understand the hazardous material that are found in the world. So if all of this sounds like something you're definitely interested, a like would be greatly appreciated. Now let's talk about all the resistance and what you guys need to know when you guys play Biomutant. So what exactly is resistance and what exactly are the hazards found in the world? Now, when you start the game and you pick your character, there's going to come a menu that's going to ask you to pick your resistance. Theoretically, right now, within the game, there are a total of 5 different resistances, but the 4 main ones, guys, are heat, radioactivity, cold, and biohazard. Now, the game's going to ask you to decide which one do you want to be more resistant to. For those of you who don't know or played any RPG or anything of the sort, you guys know that there's certain enemies that either will fire certain types of, different types of elements. Like, for example, in this case would be heat, biohazard, radioactivity, or cold. And the more enemies you fight with these type of resistances, the more you're going to want to make sure you're protected against that. So basically what this allows you to do, it allows you to kind of be like, okay, I want to take less damage from heat, so you go ahead and you apply more resistance to heat, or if you're fighting a different enemy, you want to take more resistance from cold. But the really cool thing about this particular game is that it goes a little bit further than just being able to concentrate on what type of damage an enemy does. Like usually in other games, we'll just kind of make sure we just target different enemies, whatever they're going to be shooting us with, we'll go and apply certain resistance for that. This game actually takes it a little bit further, and it actually applies a substance or a different type of hazardous option when it comes to playing the game, and that is based on level designs, because there are certain areas in the game that are more predominant to certain type of resistance that you need to uncover. So there might be areas that are extremely toxified, and there is a lot of biohazard, so much that you can't even breathe in that area. Now, the only way you're able to survive within that level is if you have enough resistance for that particular element. I like to call them elements. Basically, guys, there are going to be certain areas within the map where it's going to be super duper cold, and there's absolutely no way for your character to actually make it through unless he has enough resistance. Now, the question is, Laser, when we start the game, it allows us to pick resistance, and where do I know exactly which one I should pick? Because I've never played the game, so how should I go about picking the right resistance for the game? Well, the good news I have for you guys, after playing the game for just a little bit, I can tell you guys that at the start of the game, resistance is not going to be big of an issue, but you want to make sure that you pay close attention to this, because as you progress throughout the game, it's going to be playing a big factor within the game. Now, one thing I want to recommend, and you're probably asking, how can I get more resistance after I already committed certain points? And how many points are attributed to the resistance? There's a total of 25 points you're able to distribute from your character, but that doesn't mean that you are capped at 25 points, because you're able to actually pick up resistance to avoid those hazardous materials or those hazardous elements by also picking up special gear that will make you a little bit more resistant to that particular type of kind of hazardous element. Now, it's going to be very important that you pay close attention to whenever you pick up a gear or whenever you're crafting. If there's a certain level that you're trying to clear, you're going to want to make sure you have certain gear that's going to make you resistant to that particular type of atmosphere. It is extremely important that you pay close attention to this, because there are going to be areas within the game that you're going to want to explore. You're probably going to want to get certain weapons or talk to certain NPCs, and you will not be able to unless you have enough resistance for that particular set of elements that are toxic element that's available. In addition to that, guys, remember that if you are using abilities, your abilities that you will be casting will also be actually casting some of these resistance. Some of you might have a sword, or have a katana, or have a shotgun, basically any weapon that shoots fire bullets, right? So you're going to want to make sure that when you're shooting these fire bullets, you're not getting burned either. Some of you guys might have radioactive bullets, biohazard bullets, freezing freezing ability. So you want to make sure, guys, that when you are applying these, that you are also, if you do happen to get hit by any of these that the enemies are also inflicting on you, that you want to make sure your resistance to that particular set of, hazardous material. But the main important thing, while resistance is so important, is because of those levels that you're going to want to explore, that you are going to be subjected to having enough of that resistance. So like I said, guys, if you ever want to upgrade or improve your resistance, please make sure you guys are closely paying attention to the armor that you're picking up within the world to be able to have that, protection from that resistance. In addition to that, guys, remember, in this game, crafting, it plays a huge vital role. So for example, if you get, let's say you get a chest piece and that chest piece does not have any sort of resistance, remember, you always are able to apply shoulder pads, pants, gloves on your character. You're able to even apply something on your back. So keep in mind that just because the actual armor didn't drop with that type of resistance doesn't mean you can't add on to that particular armor or that shirt or that pair of pants or the pair of gloves, because you're still going to have that option. But the main thing here is to keep an eye for that set piece that will drop for that certain resistance. What I would recommend is, if you guys are playing, make sure you guys constantly have items for each resistance type, because you're probably going to go from a level where it's super biohazardous, and then you're going to go to another level that it might be inflicted with cold, or there might be a lot of lava, and that heat effect is going to be causing a problem. You're going to want to make sure you have swapped in your inventory, so you can easily go ahead, remove a pair of items, put it into your character, and be able to be resistant to that particular element. Because definitely, guys, you do not want to miss on loot. Loot is extremely important in this game, and losing on that loot just because you don't have enough resistance or don't understand how it works, it's going to be a huge letdown. So I hope this video kind of gives you a better idea of how important resistance is, where you can find the resistance within the world, and also with the character, and also how you're able to get more resistance if you want whenever you're trying to uncover different levels. Now, we will be covering Biomutant extensively here on the channel, so if you haven't checked out our brief video, highly recommend you guys check that out. If you haven't checked out our classicist video, definitely recommend you guys should check that one out as well. In addition to that, we're also going to be covering crafting, we're going to be covering building weapons, we're going to be covering special items and how they drop, special builds, and all that good stuff. So if all that sounds like something you're definitely interested in, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. And we will be live streaming this game early, so make sure you guys stop to the stream to check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the other two videos that are popping on the screen, and I'll talk to you guys later.
That caused the bang at the yard. Not sure he's happy about that. Anyways, he says you owe him one, and he has something in mind. He's almost done with his latest creation, a mekton. He just needs a little more scrap to get all the pieces fix-stucked.
Why not talk?
Please, don't ask him too many questions. Wando is an old language, and the last time I heard it was in the old village. I think he likes you. From what I can tell, he wants to strike a deal. He also says you owe him one. He can't leave his underyard, so if you help him salvage the scrap he needs from an old skronk just outside, he'll let you take the mekton for a ride into the dead zone.